Scrubdaddy is an entrepreneur's dream. Their CEO, Aaron Krause, appeared on the popular ABC TV show Shark Tank and secured the commitment of Lori Grenier to provide funding and support. The company took off. And today, the smiley face sponge, it appears in many of the biggest retailers in the US and is expanding their global presence. But how do you manage growth? Scrubdaddy turned to SAP partner Saberpoint for help, and together they charted a course for business growth. Before we begin, let's hear from Aaron.
Hello everyone, Aaron Krause, President, CEO, and Daddy of the Scrubdaddy. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you today, but I've got a great excuse. I'm here in London, England for our first international worldwide brand distributor summit. This is a great example of the incredible growth and success Scrubdaddy has experienced over the past few years, and I'm here to tell you SAP Business One has been a huge part of that success. A few years ago, at the Entrepreneur of the Year Award, I met Jen Morgan, and she convinced me that SAP was serious about small business, and boy was she right. She introduced me to SAP Business One, and that's been the best thing that's ever happened to us. Scrubdaddy is excited to keep on growing, and we know that SAP Business One will be a huge part of that growth. I have left you in the capable hands of our new CFO, Mr. Paul Francy. He's going to do a great job. Have a great Innovate Live, everyone.
With me here in New York City, Paul Francy, CFO of Scrubdaddy, and Ken Engel from SAP partner Saberpoint. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
How you feeling?
Good, good.
Awesome. I got packs of these in my home, and I think I don't clean enough though with it, so maybe I'll get a few copies, a few parts of Scrubdaddy here. Listen, Paul, tell us about your growth. I think growth is important. We've just left the session talking about growth. Why don't you recap Scrubdaddy's growth so we can understand that today?
Yeah, so since airing on Shark Tank in 2012, sales have really taken off. Okay. And we've really grown from that smile face sponge company into an innovative household cleaning brand. We have over 25 unique products now, over $250 million of retail sales. And in order to keep up with that growth, we really had to build a strong network of relationships. You know, we had to expand our customer base, get more diverse customers, and in the retail space, they have very high expectations. So when they drop a purchase order to you, they want you to meet that on time. So we had to build our supply chain top down to make sure that we had the right manufacturing needs.
As we see on Shark Tank, you see the sharks go, when you say the word retail, they go, oh yes, or half go, oh no. So we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah.
What was it like when your sales started to grow and you had to bring in partners and you had a network of business relationships? Again, we're here at Innovate Live, we have startups, you have mid-sized businesses where that's a part of their ecosystem. Sales are growing up. They can't do it alone, as you talked about here. We have partners. Tell us about that journey. You have this product, but to do this product, it takes quite a bit to get it done. Tell us about that.
So I mean, it was pretty much just diversifying our manufacturer base, making sure that we had a consistent supply of foam, reliable resources, and fabricators that cut down the product for us timely so we get it out to the customers on time. I mean, that was the main relationships that we needed to build.
And Ken, I'm not going to leave you alone there. You're the CFO. I assume at least half your time is thinking about the money, thinking of the operations, thinking about all the little details.
Well, actually, I'm the CFO.
Oh, okay, you're the CFO. Sorry, Ken, you're the CFO.
We're in a lot of trouble if I'm the CFO.
Yeah, sorry, you're the CFO. Yes. Going back to yourself. So guess why you looked at me like that when you went, no, I don't know about numbers. He's the CFO.
Like, I don't know about this part.
As CFO, you're thinking quite a bit about numbers and things and the growth that are important. What are some of the challenges you're going through as a CFO? You're scaling. Sales are coming in. You need partners.
Yep.
Expenses are going out the door. What are you thinking about so we can learn from you?
Yeah, so prior to my arrival, I came on board 2 years ago. So the main challenge that Scrubdaddy was having was really transitioning from this small business to a mid-sized organization.
Right.
They had small number of employees, everybody was wearing a lot of hats, and everybody was kind of a hybrid. You had operations handling accounting, IT handling logistics.
Sounds like startup life.
Yeah, like no specialization. So they hired me as a specialized person in the accounting practice. And the main challenge that I had was the very basic accounting system that we were working off of. We were working off a simple system that Aaron launched a car wash with 20 years prior.
Okay.
So Scrubdaddy, car wash, you can just tell that they don't really mix. So as we scaled, we knew we needed to move away from that system, and that's what brought us to SAP and Saberpoint.
Awesome. What are some of the things that keep you awake at night? I'm sure there's a lot besides your family and things like that, but when you're thinking of the growth, when you're thinking of so many different things, partners and sales and marketing and finance and inventory and all these things, any one or two things in particular that, Ramon, I'm always thinking about this?
I think it's really just figuring out the better ways to utilize the system. That's my constant challenge, is how to show our team unique information out of the system and how to continue to expand upon it and use every piece of it.
Got it. So Ken, the not CFO. Ken, you're the partner here with Saberpoint.
Yes.
Let's talk about that relationship and how that worked. You know, why was it so important for you to work with Scrubdaddy? And is this typical? You know, you work with a lot of startups, a lot of people who are growing. Is their situation typical? Is it not? Share with us about that.
Well, it's a good question. I would say first, it's naturally a very unique company that we're privileged to be dealing with, but it's not uncommon what Scrubdaddy goes through that so many companies go through. We see with great success and with trajectory comes a lot of issues that can range from all different areas. The biggest thing that I found with them is that even though they were going through their growing pains, they recognized that they needed to make changes, or at least to enhance where they were, and they allowed us to collaborate with them in terms of what they were doing.
So he's a pretty good guy.
He's not a bad guy.
Okay. Talking about the other companies you're working with, are there common thematics that we can get from this, that we can learn from this story? We have Scrubdaddy. You're working with several companies. What can we learn? What are common threads that you think, wow, Ramon, everybody's going through this?
Well, I think just the most important thing when we look at a company like ours, like theirs, is that you have to really put a lot of consideration into change management. Very, very, very important component. A company is not necessarily just going through a business change, Ramon,
Right.
but they are also going through a cultural change. So I really would have to say a big part of what I think has led to some of the success so far is that not only Aaron, who you saw before, the CEO, but Paul in the C-suite was very, very embracing that they had to make the change, and they got their entire company to buy in.
Got it. Real quick, innovation. We're here to innovate live. Any innovations that you've seen in Scrubdaddy than yourself, both or yourself? What are some innovations we can learn that you're going through?
Honestly, the big innovation we've had is just the implementation of SAP and utilizing the systems within that. One example of a system would be the MRP, which is Material Resource Planning, which is basically inventory that runs itself.
Right.
So-
Okay, wow. When you look at a simple product like this,
There's
you're
a lot
saying
of
as long as you have the
complications.
system involved. Ken, would you agree?
Yeah, I would also just add that I think for them, they initially went into this thinking that they would do an on-premise solution, very protective of their data. And I really applaud Paul and I really applaud Aaron for finally coming to the realization, let's focus on our business, not necessarily on an IT infrastructure. So that I think was a very, very, very big quantum leap for them, is to be willing to allow an outside provider to actually host their services in the cloud.
And final question. Partnerships, I know, are important. What do you think about your partner here? What do you think about who you're working with? Is that an important part? Again, talking to those who are wondering, how can I use SAP? How can I grow? A common thread I'm hearing is partnerships. Quickly, is that?
Yeah, it's an extremely important that you trust the person that you're launching SAP with.
Okay.
And with Saberpoint, we were very comfortable in their services, and we knew that when we were going to turn the switch off on the old system, turn it on the new one, they were there every step of the way.
So he's a good guy, too.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much.